So in this video, I'm going to show you why this drawing is all wrong. And this is a rendering provided by LAART in the final EIR for the Gondola project to Dodger Stadium. So what's wrong with this picture? A lot of things. So first off, I just want to kind of orient you to this picture. This is the entrance of LA State Historic Park, shown with the gondola station there. But then here's the before picture, actually. That's also provided in the EIR. And we are looking south from the entrance of LA State Historic Park. And you can see the Chinatown Metro Rail station here. And it's very important to note that because actually when you go to the rendering, the station's in the same place. So it provides a good reference point. So, okay, so what are we looking at now? So they've shown us this image, and what they're trying to show us is like, oh, there's all this open space next to the station. That means there's plenty of room for everyone, right? But no, this is not right. Because let's look at where this gondola station is placed. This is in the appendices in the EIR under construction assumptions. And it shows what the station would look like from an elevation view, where you can see it's 98 feet tall, next to the metro rail tracks. And then you can also see the overhead plan view. And let's take a closer look at that. So here you can see that the canopy of the station really overhangs over the entire entrance of the park. I mean, you have a little bit of space left in the corner that's not under the station. And actually this dashed line here is where the current wall and fence entry gates are for the park. So something that actually doesn't get talked about a lot is that they would actually push back the entrance of the park and move it back here when this gondola station is built. So as it is right now, it would take up this station would take up the entire entrance. There isn't really a whole lot of empty free space outside of the station. And then another thing is that the station has these supports. Let's look at the zoomed out view. So the station sits on these support columns, and there's also stairs and elevators and all that in this area. And that these support columns are more or less centered under the station, and then they're also centered over this kind of dirt patch at the entrance of the park. And if you go to the park a lot, you'll know you can walk in through two separate gates. You can walk in and out through these two separate gates. So these are parallel walkways, and technically this is actually a fire road, but anyway, the columns are centered in this dirt patch. So let's go back to that original image. Here's the image showing the before, the current state, which is you have these two trees, they're in this dirt patch before you get to the entry gates of the park. And that's where the gondola station is supposed to be centered. But when you overlay this rendering, it's not over there, right? So look at where the patches, and then the station is way behind that dirt patch. I mean, the station is almost really sitting on top of the metro tracks, really. And then another thing is that they've changed the angle of this ground plane. They've raised the ground plane up and tilted it down towards the viewer, from where we're looking at down here. So let's look at that again. So it's kind of, if you see it fading in, you can kind of see where it happens. Where, let's look, or especially focusing around here, you can see that the station, or the ground, is shifted up. So there's just a tiny bit of clearance under the elevated metro tracks now, versus in the original case where there's a lot more ground clearance for those elevated tracks. So they've raised the ground plane and then they've tilted it down to make it appear that this open plaza area next to the station is a lot larger than it would actually be. So this is very misleading. And not only that, this is also an image that they've used in a lot of marketing. They've used it in this marketing here as well, to try to show that, oh, there's plenty of room next to the station for all other uses, like such as the farmers market. Now, I mean, one thing is that our current farmers market is small, but it's not this small. It's like 3 times as large as this, so at least. So that's one thing. I mean, no, this doesn't cut it. But also, the space that they're showing us, it's not real. It's not how it would actually be if they build this gondola station according to their construction plans. So, I think the lesson here is that we need to look very closely at everything that LAART puts out, the images. There's other examples of misleading images, and it's really kind of shameful that they've put these in official documents, and these are the official documents that this California State Parks Department is going to use to determine whether they should allow this project in the park. Thanks for watching this video. Okay.